What's up, guys? This is Durian Productions. Today, let us open box a brand new Xiaoxin Air14 2020 version with the latest NVIDIA MX350 GPU. It has the 10th generation Intel Core i5, 16GB of RAM, and 512GB of solid-state drive. Out of the box, you get the laptop, the charger, and the cable. Though being a Type-C charger, it has 3-pin, which I think is a bonus feature, which allows the laptop to be properly grounded without any electricity going through the laptop metallic cases. It feels pretty light on hand. The total weight should be around 1.3 kilograms. The build quality is pretty good. The design is very simple with a small Lenovo logo at the side or no logos at the center. The back is also a metallic panel. It doesn't use plastic, which is a premium feature coming from this very budget level around $1,000 laptop. The plastic stand is pretty high, suggesting that the laptop requires some air to cool. On the one side, it has a Type-C for charging, an HDMI for video output, and a headphone jack for audio output and input. Two indicator lights for power and hard drive. On the other side, two USB Type-A port. They are USB 3.0. One supports power off charging. It has an SD card reader, which is really a convenient feature for most photographers and videographers. You're not supposed to use your hand, just single hand, to open it. It's a very simple design, Lenovo style, with nano bezel or micro bezel screen, with pretty good U-shaped keyboard and large area trackpad. This will not look as so gorgeous as those glass panel display, while it's still pretty decent and very good for daily use as a matte display. The keyboard improvement is very significant compared to last year. Lenovo claimed that they improved the keyboard and trackpad feel by increasing about 1 or 2 mm thickness laptop so that they have more room to build a more proper keyboard and trackpad. As a result, things turns out to be good. At the left side and the right side, there is two speakers over there. Let's see a bit later whether the sound is good or not. The power button looks not really even there. While it's kind of acceptable, not really a big issue. It has a shutter for the web camera. While it's actually quite clicky, this is a plus feature considering nowadays privacy issue is becoming daily more important. Overall, I'd like to say it is definitely a good laptop in its price range. Now let's move to the daily and user experience part. Pressing the power button is simple. The keyboard backlight is just good enough to give you a hint on where the keys are. I pretty much like the Chinese Quafu wallpaper. Well, it seems pretty Chinese-like, pretty ancient. All the apps, including the Safety Center, Software Manager, Mail, Browser, are very swift on top. Unlike some other competitors which have similar specs, Lenovo definitely give you the power of the specs while do not limit the power of the specs. Open a YouTube video and we experience the sound and screen quality.
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct, but it's wordy and hard to read. It undermines the writer's message, and the word choice is bland. Grammarly's cut.
Our next guest, all she was trying to do was catch a...
The overall feel watching video is, well, better than acceptable. The sound is not loud, while the sound quality is better than my expectation. There is no any sound broken at any frequency, low frequency bass or high frequency pitch. The color gamut covers 100% sRGB or 72% NTSC, which is far more decent than expected for this price range. While do expect that this is just a beginner level 100% sRGB screen, not a top-notch one. Moving to hardware. In i5-64 software, the Intel Core i5 is a pretty good Intel i5 CPU, pretty powerful, although a bit power hungry if you want to boost the clocks to high clock ratio, while very power efficient generally. The battery is very large, 56 watt-hour battery. In idle situation, if you do not open anything, it's around 6 to 7 watt, which suggests that on the idle situation, you will have 9 hours idle battery time, and if you start to work or web browsing, you may expect something like 6 hours work or web browsing lifetime. Lenovo could have done better in this range, as many competitors, even Xiaomi, can optimize the discharge rate to around 4 watt, which will give significantly better battery on time. Apart from the battery, things else are excellent. Dual channel LPDDR4 RAM, very high bandwidth, 16 GB. Also with the MX350 GPU, one of the best GPU for lightweight laptops. The monitor is a twin-trunk Innolux Chinese display. We cannot find the exact model, while the brightness is very good, 400 cd per cm square per meter square, while the contrast ratio is on the mid-range, just 800 versus 1. It is probably the entry-level high gamma display, while not a top-notch one. The solid-state drive is from Samsung, a very high-performance PM981A, which corresponds to the Samsung 970 EVO Plus, latest released in 2019. The wireless card is from 9560. It's a very good wireless card. We do not need to complain about it. The benchmark on Cinebench R15 and SSD are very good. The CPU side on battery high performance mode is definitely top notch, so is the single core. The OpenGL is similar to MX350, while if you are gaming, you can generally expect about 20 to 30% frames per second increase. The solid state drive gives you a very high score with fast 4K read and write. We do not really care too much about the sequential readings because it depends highly on how much you partial the disk. Remember, we are running 10 gigabytes rather than just 1 gigabyte ASSD, which is more intensive. The Blackmagic roll speed test also shows high score. The 8K CUDA is around 23 frames per second, which is similar to MX350. The CPU is 18, which is about twice as fast as the Ryzen 3000. We will later test the Ryzen 4000 and compare them in another video. Move to the system stability, heat and noise. In idle situation, it is strange that the temperature is beyond 50 degrees. Many laptops only need 40 or even 38, 39 Celsius degrees. We do not really understand how this high temperature exists because the CPU frequency is rather low. Anyway, let's stress the CPU. It is pretty obvious that the task manager is given some run readings and probably some other parts in my software. The temperature now is 90 Celsius degrees plus. Assumably, the actual reading is 2.4 gigahertz right now, and the CPU clock column is 129% overclocked. Well, it's definitely not a high ratio. The Core i5 can easily go to 3 point something gigahertz if you allow some additional power on top. Let us stress it for 10 minutes. Everything is so stable. Originally it was around 2.3, 2.4. Now it's still 2 gigahertz with a drop temperature around 65 Celsius degree. The battery discharge rate is around 31 or 32 watts, which suggests that the power envelope in CPU is around 20 to 25 watts. You can read the CPU package is around 20 watts, which is not really high. There is one trick if you are purchasing the laptop from China, that is you can press Fn plus Q key, combo key, to switch between performance mode, normal mode, and cool mode. In performance mode, it gives you 2.6 gigahertz with a higher temperature around 80 Celsius degree. The CPU power envelope is now unlocked to 27 to 28 watts, and the battery discharge rate is now 42 watts, 43 watts, much higher. We know clearly that the Xiaoxin Air14 has very good thermal and performance output stability. After a few minutes, the performance is still stable, it doesn't drop, and you can always press Fn plus Q to switch between high performance, high noise, high temperature, and also lower performance, low noise, or no noise even, and less power consumption. The option is always on your hand. Let's just add GPU into the stress test as well. Now, let's start pause. After dual stress test, the CPU clock ratio was amazingly lowered to 400 MHz, which is very low. The CPU power envelope is around 10 watts, which is very low. Probably I got some problems in CPU frequency reading, but at most, this power will allow the CPU to run on 1.2, 1.3 GHz, which is very low. The GPU clock ratio is around 1 GHz to 1.5 GHz. We try to turn on the Fn plus Q to unlock the performance mode. The GPU frequency goes higher again, while the CPU has still a very low frequency. The reading is now accurate. It's now 2 point something gigahertz. Probably the CPU wasn't properly programmed at the beginning. Overall, the performance is pretty good. In 2019, Lenovo has its Xiaoxin Air14, which has some drawbacks, while in 2020, everything just get recovered and just being better.